Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Okay, well, my fiance and I should say my fiance wants to move. We currently live on her parents' property in a back house while we're paying off our debt. And when we get taxes in, she'd like to pay off one of the loans, but then move. And from all the numbers I've touched, it's like I'm trying to not break her heart, but tell her that we might need to stay longer until we pay off all of our debts before we add another bill.
Expense, yeah. Why does she want to move?
It's always, we're getting a bit older, just to get away from, parents. Nothing wrong with parents. It's just something we want to move to a bigger place for the kids.
Okay. So it's more out of a desire, not a necessity. It's not like something is going awry relationally and it's like, we got to get out of here for the health of our family. There's not an urgency to it necessarily. It's just a deep desire of like, I want to be on my own.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So how much extra do you guys have a month if you were to try to say, okay, yeah, here's what we would probably rent for. Have you guys put that into a budget just to see what that looks like?
Paying off the loans still, like if we were to move, instead of paying off the loans, I'd be like negative $350 every month.
How much are the loans?
I've got 3 loans that all average about $2,500.
$2,500. Okay.
Yes.
And what are you paying right now to live in this other property that your parents have?
Electric.
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. How much are you guys paying? Are you paying anything, or are they letting you live there for free?
Pretty much free. I just pay the electric bill while they know.
How much do you make a year, Joseph? You and your wife combined?
My wife's a stay-at-home mom, and this year I made $44,000.
$44,000. Okay. Because I was going to say, you have $8,000 of debt. It's not.
Yeah. Well, were you paying off other debt before this, and this is just what's left? Or
this is what's left.
Oh,
okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so when do you think, like, based off of the progress you've been making, how quickly can you have this $7,500 paid off?
I could pay off one loan, and that loan, that's $400 a month that I can put towards other loans. It's like paying off one, but it's times the hard variable. So it's I could pay off the biggest and then pay off the other ones.
Well, you want to move smallest to largest, like that's the way that we would teach you to do it. But even doing that, how quickly do you think you'd be through the whole $7,500?
Within the next 6 months.
6 months. Okay. Yeah. So that gives you adequate time to start doing your research and seeing what it would look like to rent. Like Rachel said, you're throwing it in a budget. You're kind of running the numbers and getting used to what that idea would feel like. And by the time this debt is gone, it's going to be, you packing up that.
Yeah. How many kids do you guys have?
3.
How many?
3.
3. Okay. Because Joseph, I would say, what do you do for a career?
Warehouse management.
Okay. Because $44,000, with a family of 5.
Before taxes.
You guys are running on a tight ship. And so to just, I'm going to say as the kids get older and as you guys start looking, because eventually, yes, the goal is to own your own place one day. It's either going to take, it's going to take longer, right? On a $44,000 salary.
Yeah.
Or if she decides to pick up some work and do something from home to bring in, even $1,000 a month or something to help kind of speed this up as well, right? I think that's what's always, difficult in a situation is, we are all for stay-at-home moms. That is not a slam against her. I think that is incredible, absolutely incredible. But when you make one choice there, then other choices, so she has to understand too that there's a reality of what you guys make every year and what you bring in a month. And there's a reality of what you can afford. So either if, and I don't want you working 80 hours a week to be able to own a home, right? There's a reality too, to your time and enjoyment of life. But that's a reality she needs to realize. So even though I know she doesn't like being there, there's a math issue here too.
How old are the kids?
6, 7, and 2.
So is she doing the homeschool thing, or are 2 of them already in kindergarten?
And yeah.
Homeschool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, which is great. So I think that, And you guys do a budget together? I mean, I'm assuming she sees all these numbers.
We just started. Like,
Okay.
I just discovered the Ramsey solution
Okay.
like 2-3 months ago.
Oh, awesome. Well, you guys made great progress. Well done. That's awesome.
you.
So, and how old are you guys? You may have said this.
I am 24. She is 25.
Oh, okay. Well, and the positive thing is too, Joseph. I mean, if this was the case and you guys were in your late 30s or something, I'd be like, whew, okay, we gotta keep moving. But you're young in a sense that you will only be moving up.
Yeah.
In income from every year you should progressively be making more, and that's the positive. So it may not happen as fast as she may want it, but also I would make it a goal, though, to at least get out. I understand what she's saying and become, your own crew somewhere and renting. But buying a home and all of that, it may just take a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I understand that. And, like, I hope she does, too. It's just I don't want to break her heart because she was like, we need to move.
Well, you're not breaking her heart. Math is breaking her heart because she's not living in reality. I mean, she could be sad about it. And that's appropriate, too, right? Where it's like, oh, my gosh, I want to be gone out of here. And this sucks and I hate it. But you know what? Grown-ups, we all do things that we don't like. But I would say, again, hear me say, we are pro being on your own. Even if you were a single guy, Joseph, and you were 24, we'd be like, hey, Joseph, how can you get out of your parents' house, right? So for the time being, you guys are on a plan and have an end date as well. This would help her too when you actually look, because you said we can be done in 6 months. And, it's February. So what is that? August-ish or so? And make it a plan to say, okay, by September 30th, we are renting a new spot. October 1, we'll be paying rent for a new spot, right? And you guys together need to have a timeline and have that end date, because that's going to help her. If it's this just like forever, we're going to try, we'll see. That ambiguity, I feel like, stresses people out. And I understand that in her case. So have a plan. And then you guys, rent. And then again, I don't know, there's a reality too for her to realize, I mean, you guys are in a great spot, a situation to pay off this debt fast versus having to pay $800 in rent somewhere in Lafayette. So that's what I would do. Yeah. What do you think, Jade?
I think you're right. I love when moms want to stay at home. I think it's a great idea. I love the idea of homeschooling, but there's two really, like you said, facing the reality of a financial situation. And like I've said many times on this show, a dream deferred is not a dream denied. Just because you say, hey, in this season, I'm not getting, I'm not able to have my cake and eat it too. So in this season, I've got to work hard. And then once I get ourselves in a better situation, then I can do those things. I can stay at home. I can do the homeschooling. And so I think that there's a little bit of sacrificing to when that needs to take place here.
Yes. Or you're sacrificing by choosing to be home and homeschooling, which again is great. But then you're sacrificing home ownership down the road.
That's also true.
And that's the thing, right? You guys just have to look at the math and the values of your family, Joseph, and that's what you want to drive you. But math has to be a reality that we have to live in, that we can't just want something and it just happened. That's not being a grown-up either. So I hope that helps, Joseph, but you guys are killing it. I mean, you guys have made so much progress already, so keep up the great work.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.